Okay, this is lesson 38, part 2. Lesson 38, part 2, so write that down in your notes. And we're going to solve two-step equations now. And we're going to use the same method that we did before, but now instead of one step to solve the equation, there's two steps. So what we're going to do is use inverse operations, opposite operations, to isolate the variable and get it alone on one side of the equation. So write down the first example, which is 3x plus 3 equals 6. Notice that the variable is on the left, so that's the side that you work with to try and get this x alone. So first we're going to draw a line where the equal sign is, because whatever you do to one side you have to do to the other. So we always start with addition or subtraction first if it's available. So we see that we have adding 3. In order to undo adding 3, we're going to subtract 3. So whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3, and then that goes away and zeroes out. I bring down the 3x. There's my equal sign, and 6 minus 3 is 3. Now I have to do one more step to solve the equation. This is multiplication. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 because I get 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and now I have x alone. Well, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So 3 divided by 3, that equals 1. So my answer is x equals 1. And I can check this by substituting what I found as my answer into the original equation. So I would do 3 times 1 plus 3. Does that give me 6? And yes, it does, so it checks. This says up here, use your calculator to check, and you can also do that as well. All right, number 2, 2x plus 2 equals 4. Write it down, draw a line to separate your sides of your equal sign. You're going to do the opposite of adding 2. So you always start with addition or subtraction first. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides, draw a line. This goes away and makes 0. I bring the 2x down. Then I have an equal sign. 4 minus 2 is 2. Then I divide both sides by 2, because the opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So now I have the x alone. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So again, I have my same answer, which is 1. Okay, your answer is not always going to be 1. That's just kind of weird. Okay, we have 4 more examples in this particular lesson. All right, let's start with this one. 4x minus 2 equals 6. The opposite of subtracting 2, draw my line, is adding 2. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Draw a line. This is canceled. I get 4x, my equal sign, and 6 plus 2 is 8. Then the next step is to divide by this number that's with the variable. So divide that and get 1, and then divide over here and I get 2. So x equals 2, and that's my answer. And again, you can check it by doing 4 times 2 minus 2. Does that give me 6? And yes, it does. All right, here's another subtraction one. So write this problem down, draw a line. The opposite of subtracting 3, add 3 to both sides, draw a line. Then I get 5a equals 15. Then divide by 5 here. So I get a equals 3. Okay, those are some simple ones. Now we have some that are a little more complicated because you have some negatives in there, some integers. So let's see. So first of all, negative 2b plus 5 equals 13. Write it down, then draw a line. Okay, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So first I'm either going to add or subtract. I see that this is adding 5, which means I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Draw a line. 5 minus 5 is 0. I bring the negative 2b down, equals 13 minus 5 is 8. Now I'm going to divide both sides by the negative 2 this time, the number that's with the variable. The opposite of multiplying, remember, is dividing. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. A negative 2 divided by a negative 2 makes positive 1. So I have 1b So sometimes you write the 1, you can write it if you want to, equals 8 divided by negative 2, which is negative 4. So B is equal to negative 4. And again, you can check it. You can do negative 2 times negative 4. That makes positive 8 plus 5, and that does equal 13. All right, last one in this little mini lesson here of two-step equations. So this one is a little different. You have a negative 9 minus 4e equals 7. So you can see that they reversed these. So the e is over here on this side, and you have a negative 9 there. And then you have a subtraction sign. So let's analyze what we do here. This is kind of special. So first you want to draw your line. So write the problem down, draw your line. Whatever you do to the left side, you must do to the right. What I want to do is I don't want to deal with this yet. Okay, I want to do the negative 9. I need to get rid of the negative 9 and undo it. So this is a negative 9. How do you undo a negative 9? How do you make it into 0? Well, you're going to add 9 to negative 9. Whatever you do to one side, we do to the other. If I add a positive 9 to a negative 9, that makes 0. So I've zeroed that out. And then I can bring this entire thing down, including the negative sign, down. And then an equal sign, and 7 plus 9 is 16. So now I have a one-step equation, and I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. So divide, you get 1e equals 12. And you can always check it. So your answer is 12. You can check it. You can do negative 9 minus 4 times 12. Does that give me 7? So negative 9, so this is negative 9 minus 48. That should give me 7, and that doesn't, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So let me check. I'm going to pause this and check. Okay, you've probably already noticed that I subtracted instead of divided. So now I know that my answer is not 12. 16 divided by negative 4 is what? Negative 4. That's why you check, because you can make a silly mistake like me, and then you can end up with the wrong answer. So I have e equals negative 4. So instead of this 12, I have a negative 4. So now I have negative 9 minus 4 times a negative 4, and 4 times a negative 4 is negative 16. So now I have negative 9 subtracting a negative 16. If I do keep, change, and you can use your calculator to check too, then I end up with 7 equals 7. And that is your lesson for today. So be sure to check your answers, or you can make silly mistakes. All right, thanks for watching. There's also another lesson on this. This is lesson 38, part 2, and then there's going to be lesson 38, part 3.